There is a bird outside your window. Maybe you've seen it before. Maybe it comes every morning, lands on the same branch, looks in the same direction, waits for the same thing. You've probably never thought much about it. You put out some seeds, it eats. You go about your day, simple. But here's the thing, nobody tells you. That bird is not just eating your seeds, it is watching you. It has memorized your face, your voice, the time you open your back door, the days you seem rushed versus the mornings you move slowly. The difference in your footsteps when you're calm versus when something is wrong. It has built a profile of you, detailed, accurate, and updated every single morning. And if you disappeared tomorrow, it would notice before almost anyone else in your life. This is not a feel-good story about cute animals. This is a story about intelligence, memory, loyalty, and the secret world that exists 6 feet outside your kitchen window. A world that has been quietly, patiently paying close attention to you. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn will change how you see every bird you encounter for the rest of your life. Let's talk about what birds can actually do, because most people massively underestimate them. In 2009, researchers at the University of Washington conducted an experiment that made headlines around the world. They wanted to know, can crows recognize individual human faces? So they designed a test. Researchers wore specific rubber masks and went into the campus to trap and tag wild crows. Completely harmless, but temporarily stressful for the birds. Then they waited. What happened next stunned even the scientists running the experiment. Whenever someone wore those specific masks, even years later, the crows reacted. They called out alarm signals. They followed the people. Some dove aggressively, swooping low over their heads. But here's the part that changes everything. Crows that were not even alive during the original experiment responded the same way. The information had been passed down, parent to offspring. Like a story told at the dinner table, except the story was, watch out for that face, remember it, share it. This is not instinct, this is culture, this is memory, this is intelligence operating at a level we've barely begun to measure. Now, crows are famous for this, but they're not the only one. Studies on mockingbirds show they can identify and specifically target individual humans who have come too close to their nest, ignoring other people completely, even those standing closer. Pigeons trained in lab settings showed the ability to distinguish between 725 different photographs of human faces and retain those distinctions over months. Even your backyard sparrow, tiny and seemingly unremarkable, has a brain built for this, built for pattern recognition, individual identification, and long-term memory. The bird at your feeder does not see a human. It sees you, and it has been building a file on you since the first morning it arrived. You've probably assumed that the birds at your feeder are random, that any bird nearby will swing by, grab some food, and move on. That's not how it works. Birds are intensely territorial. A single bird, or a mated pair, will claim a specific area and defend it, patrol it, and return to it with remarkable consistency. Your backyard may be the center of one bird's entire world. When ornithologists tag wild birds with small radio trackers and follow their movements, what they find is almost poetic in its precision. The same bird, the same branch, the same time, the same route. Day after day, season after season, sometimes for the entire span of that bird's life. That blue jay you see every Tuesday morning, it's not a different blue jay each week. It's the same one. It has a name in your yard, even if you've never given it one. And here's where it moves from fascinating to something almost heartbreaking. There are documented cases, not folklore, not bird lover mythology, but actual recorded observations of birds continuing to return to a feeder after the person who maintained it was gone. One such case involved an elderly man in the English countryside. For over a decade, he fed the birds in his garden every single morning. Same time, same routine. He would stand at the back door with his coffee and watch them come. When he passed away, his daughter began noticing something she couldn't explain. Every morning, at exactly the time her father used to stand at the door, the birds would come. They'd land on the empty feeder, sit on the fence, look toward the house. One bird in particular, a robin she'd seen her whole childhood, sat on the windowsill for 3 mornings in a row, looking in through the glass. She started filling the feeder, not because she was a bird person, she'd never cared about birds before, but because something had been built there between her father and those birds, and she found herself unable to let it go. She said in an interview years later, "I finally understood why he did it every morning. It wasn't for them. It was because they always showed up. Every single day they showed up, and that meant something. That means something. What looks like a peaceful backyard scene is actually something far more complex. It's a network, a real-time, multi-species communication system that processes information faster and more accurately than most human organizations. When a blue jay makes that sharp, piercing call, the one that sounds like it's yelling at something, it's not just making noise. It's broadcasting a message, a specific structured message. Ornithologists have decoded many of these calls. They carry information about the type of threat, its direction, its distance, and its level of danger. Different calls for aerial predators versus ground predators. Different urgencies, different instructions. And here's the part that changes how you hear your backyard forever. Other species listen. Chickadees, sparrows, squirrels, even deer have been observed responding to blue jay alarm calls. The entire yard goes on alert in seconds, triggered by a single bird's voice. Your backyard is not a passive scene. It is constantly alive with information. Information being generated, transmitted, received, and acted upon in real time. And you are part of that network. Your regular presence, calm, predictable, non-threatening, has been noted. Birds near you are less alarmed than they would be near a stranger. You have, without knowing it, been given a kind of clearance. Researchers studying landscape of fear in urban birds found something remarkable. Birds in neighborhoods with consistent, calm human presence showed measurably lower stress hormones and higher nesting success than birds in areas with erratic or threatening human activity. Your quiet mornings in the backyard, your stillness, your routine, are literally improving the lives of the birds around you. They are not separate from your world. They are woven into it. Let's get specific about what a bird that's visited your yard regularly actually knows about you. Your schedule. Birds that are fed consistently begin arriving just before your typical appearance time. They learn when you usually come out, honey, and they wait. If you're running late, they wait longer. They have internalized your rhythm, the sounds you make, the click of a specific door, the sound of that one bag rustling, the difference between you walking toward the feeder versus walking toward your car. They know all of it. Sound mapping is one of the most sophisticated things small birds do, and it includes mapping you, your emotional state. This is the one that tends to surprise people the most. Multiple studies have confirmed that birds are highly sensitive to human body language and movement patterns. On days you are anxious, rushing, erratic, they keep greater distance. On slow, calm mornings, they come closer. One study found that wild birds in urban parks could distinguish between people who had previously paid attention to them versus those who had ignored them, and responded with greater trust to the attentive humans, even when those humans weren't doing anything different in the moment. They remember how you made them feel. There is a woman in Bothell, Washington, whose story has been documented by wildlife researchers and covered by BBC News. For years, she fed the crows in her neighborhood. Over time, they began leaving her gifts, small shiny objects, a button, a broken earring, a piece of foil twisted into a shape, a tiny glass bead, always left on the edge of the feeder, positioned carefully. Researchers who studied the behavior note that it cannot be definitively called gratitude, but it can be definitively called something, a behavior that developed uniquely in response to a specific human, a behavior that did not occur with other people in the same area. She was not a human who feeds crows. She was her, known, recognized, responded to as an individual. Your backyard sparrow may not leave you jewelry, but somewhere in its small, fast-processing brain, you are a specific entity, mapped, remembered, and anticipated every morning you appear. I want to tell you something that this research made me think about in a way I wasn't expecting. We live in a world that is accelerating, more noise, more distraction, more everything. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, most of us are quietly starving for something reliable, something that shows up. Think about the birds in your yard. They don't call ahead, they don't send a message, they don't make plans, they just appear. At the same time, in the same place, day after day, rain or sun, good days and terrible ones. There is no negotiation, no cancellation, no drift. They show up. And somehow, without us ever asking for it, that reliability becomes one of the most grounding things in a person's day. That's why people who feed birds regularly report lower levels of anxiety and depression in study after study, not because birds are therapeutic props, but because consistency, presence, and being noticed, even by something small, matters to us in ways we don't fully understand. The daughter who started filling her father's feeder said something else in that interview that I keep coming back to. She said, "My father was a quiet man. He didn't talk much about what he felt. But every morning, he'd stand at that door with his coffee and he'd watch those birds come. And there was this look on his face, like he'd just confirmed something, like the world was still working the way it should. The world is still working the way it should. A bird came this morning. It will come tomorrow. It will come after you've had the worst week of your life, and it will come the morning after that one good thing finally happens. It will come, and it will look at you, and it will know it's you. Specifically, particularly you, and it will eat the seeds you left. And somehow, without a single word, something will have been confirmed. So, tomorrow morning, I want you to try something. When you go outside to fill the feeder, don't rush back in. Don't check your phone. Don't run through your to-do list. Just stand there. Be still. Let the morning be what it is. Because somewhere nearby, there is a bird that has been watching you for weeks, maybe months. It knows your face. It knows your footsteps. It has worked you into its understanding of the world as something safe, something reliable, something that means food and warmth and routine. If you are still enough, it will come close. Not because it trusts humans, because it trusts you. There's a difference, and the bird figured that out long before you did. If this made you see your backyard differently, share it with someone who could use a quiet moment today, and subscribe. Because next time, we go into the dark. Something is sitting in the tree outside your bedroom at 2 a.m., and it already knows your name.